Previously in the Integrity Octane series, our 30-plus drivers on a week-by-week basis have been given their warm welcome, and they sure experienced what it was like for the first time this year to race with championship implications. Our standings have changed quite a bit so far, and we see the playoff picture starting to take hold. Blake Cannon has already locked himself into the next round, but that still leaves 9 places available for 14 drivers. Some of them are going to have to go home, and a good night this week in Kansas could make all the difference, but getting kept out of the picture, it all comes down to whether or not you survive Tornado Alley. Welcome back to the Midwest. Welcome back to Kansas. This is your 23rd race of the 2025 Integrity Ignite Series season. This is Kansas. And 36 drivers have already registered in what has become a fastly populating session at the mile-and-a-half circuit. Welcome back to FTN Broadcasting. I'll be your host for tonight's event. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing. Less than 2 minutes are on the clock now as drivers get ready. Vinny Tigner, one of the many taking qualifying times, his number 12 up to 12th as Ethan Lane has grabbed the pole position. 84 one-thousandths of a second back is Michael Araya, and 1/10 of a second behind in third is Cody Smith in the number 18. Vinny puts up his second lap. That's going to jump him up into the 10th position. It looks like right now 26 drivers have taken times. Thomas Bressi goes up to P5. Ethan Lane and the top 3 are off the racetrack. Cody Smith is now heading down to the pit road while Jack Drucker comes by. Drucker's second lap gets him up into 8th. Jack right now finding himself 4th in playoff points. 21 above the cut line, which is a good number to be at right now. He does have a fair bit of buffer. Tom Wetmore shoots up on his second and final lap. He takes it immediately to P2. Wetmore is 22 points below the cut line. He comes in jeopardy. He needs a great race tonight. His teammate won last week, maybe looking to bring that energy in. Braxton DeWeese, the 2024 champion, is also going at it. He's on his first lap with 40 seconds to spare, this being his first and only attempt, as he will be the 33rd driver to set a time tonight if he just gets down through the back straightaway and finishes the run. Lane has the provisional pole position, and he is looking again for victory lane. Win number 6 for Ethan. Of course, he's more and more. That's the next goal. Coming across the line for Braxton DeWeese, 18th place on that lap, and it looks like that will be the final taken. Blake Gordon right now sitting on the inside of the racetrack, and there is no additional contest. Qualifying has concluded. Ethan Lane will take the pole once again. Lane has proven so consistent when it comes to victories, pole positions, and across the Ignite and Octane series. He is the winningest driver in Integrity this year. Lane jumps up to the top of the board, and it looks like just like that, will have himself pole number 7 as he chases after that 6th win. Ethan Lane with a quick time of 30.546 second lap. Half a tenth above the field. Pit road emptying. Drivers back on the way. Kansas Speedway is one of the younger tracks on our schedule. As a matter of fact, a majority of drivers in this league are older than the track itself. You can't say the same about every racetrack. I mean, you talk about Daytona or Talladega, where we do have a few drivers who come in from the 60s, but most of which these days, not the case. But this is a millennial circuit. Came around in 2001, and construction just before that in the late 1990s. Kansas is young by all accounts, so drivers are still trying to get used to it because each and every time we come by the intermediate package, it does change a bit. There's Hunter Madalenis looking to get the ball rolling for his 07 team. He is among the many looking to prove that even with inexperience, he can bring successful performances. Madalenis is among a few rookies in Jack Drucker, Garrett Davis, and Ronnie Osmer in that regard. So as you see some drivers taking practice times, your starting grid has been assembled. Let's get to learn the faces and the names of the starting 36 tonight from Kansas. On the pole position, he took it from provisional to reality for the 7th time this year. Ethan Lane grabs pole position number 7 and takes it to the top of the board with the quickest time of all, the only below the 30.6 second mark. Tom Wetmore goes 30.6 flat, and after missing last week's race, this is a must-see race. I'm not going to say must win, it was on the tip of my tongue, but he survived with 2 good races starting tonight. Michael O'Ryan, the number 44, a bona fide champion contender, he starts 3rd. Cody Smith in the 18 goes 4th, with Hunter Madalenis and Thomas Bresci rounding out the qualifying Super 6, all of which are eligible for the championship. Next, you'd have to go down to the 7th place man. That would be Jared Davis and Jack Drucker, the rookie, right alongside him, with Ronnie Osmer and Justin Morton, 9th and 10th. Of your top 10 drivers, each and every one of them is competing for the championship. Morton sits on the cut line in 10th place. Then you'll have 11th in Nicholas Ward, 12th in the number 12 of Vinny Tigner, and P13 in the form of Nick Tarbuck. Matthew Thunhorse is going to go 14th, Blake Gordon 15th, Sebastian Miller 16th, Sam Nieto and Braxton Uis 17th and 18th places. Matt Sisler and Jacob Fife wrap up the top 20 as DJ Stagner goes 21st. He won at Daytona on Thursday night, maybe going for 2 consecutive FTN wins. 22nd, Brent McClendon. 23rd, Josh Christman, Ryan Potter in 24th. And those guys also raced on Thursday night, with 25th, then being the driver of the 67 in Will Reichard. Gael Brooks, Blake Cannon, defending winner, Josh Gallagher, Tyler Hensley, and Brandon Bernhardt wrap up the top 30 with Kyle Cooper, Cal Filarski, Casey Shue, Andrew Schaub, and Steve Durham down to 35. Your final driver tonight, Boomer Logan. We'll hopefully see him on the track for at least a little while, as he is your 36th and final man to register from Kansas. Welcome back to the Ignite Series playoff season. It's our 2nd race of the 9-race playoffs and our 23rd of the year. This is the Tornado Alley, and this is Kansas Speedway. Top of the charts, 7th time this year, maybe a lucky 7 for Ethan Lane. Got about a minute or so remaining on the clock here for drivers. Yeah, Tom Wetmore is in a critical position, championship-wise. He missed last week. He's been on a string of hits and misses. Regular season finale, he had a remarkable race, was able to make his way into the playoff picture by virtue, of course, of working with Blake Cannon, who is such a big help for the Roadhouse program and has become their de facto flagship driver for the Ignite Series. 69 team, able to make it in, but it's been a flip-flop because the week before that, he had a horrible race in Texas, Wetmore, and that dropped him some 20 points. Well, the same thing happened last week. By virtue of him not racing, Tom Wetmore was down and out, and that means he comes in 22 points under the cut line when he did have a buffer coming in. He's lucky he's had a pretty good season so far, because otherwise this would have been a much harder situation to work out. One of the guys to watch, he starts 2nd place tonight as he gets slammed up the track. That is Tom Wetmore, the number 69, 2nd place, and so you have it. Now, time to move forth for what is going to be a big night of racing. 140 laps, 210 miles. Wetmore is going to stand 2nd, but he goes alongside the winningest man of the year so far. The bubble battle is going to be interesting. Of course, 5 drivers not guaranteed in. One of them will scrape through on the bubble. Got a few others just behind. Coming into this race, behind the cut line are Sam Nieto, Nick Tarbuck, Cody Smith, Tom Wetmore, and Ronnie Osmer. Tarbuck having a particularly off race. In mind, he has been at the top of the point situation almost all year, but after the points reset, one bad race will take you just like that all the way back down. So consistency matters most when you have these playoff circumstances come to mind. Sam Nieto is tied on the points basis with Justin Morton. However, time being, it appears if they end that way, Sam does not have the tiebreaker points necessary to take that spot. So he sits in 11th, officially speaking, as drivers get on the way out of pit road. Take a look upstairs again to the front of the field. There's Ethan Lane. E1. Drivers making their way across this 1.5-mile racing circuit. Keep in mind, it's going to be sunny skies and the weather will change all night long. Clear. Like so far, the ambient temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temp is coming in at 99 degrees. The big thing that is pushing that temp up tonight, look at that humidity marker. Or you'll see it as the racing goes on. 89% relative humidity, which is about the highest mark we've seen all of the summer stretch. Might not be warm, but the track is going to get slick. These tires are going to burn. Add to that, wind southwest bound at about 18 miles an hour. Only thing that's really fair, shall we say, is that ambient temp. Everything else is going to burn tonight. You're going to see triple-digit temperatures all night long. That could play a big part in these strategy calls. Multi-stop expected if we have cautions. One stop possible if we go green. Ethan Lane for the 7th time this year looking to roll the dice, but it's not Las Vegas. Instead, it's Tornado Alley. Green flags out with Tom Wetmore right beside him. We're back on our way. Lariah Smith rolling in the second row. It's the fight to make it in. One driver's locked himself in. 14 still the challenge. We're green from Kansas. Across these opening laps, Wetmore fades back. Michael Lariah takes second, and it looks like we might see another round between the 44 and the number 6. The most iconic of which perhaps being that Michigan race. Michael Lariah just getting the better of Ethan Lane. And I'll tell you this much, it could have gone either way that night. Michael started at the front of the field. Ethan Lane started outside the top 30. And yet they looked like they were toe-to-toe for the better part of 200 miles. That's about the distance we're working with tonight. As a matter of fact, as we come across the line, 100 miles to go. It's as simple as that. Championship contenders occupied the top 10 places entirely. Cody Smith, keep in mind, one of them who is 19 points back. I mean, there are some guys who need to do work tonight. If you are more than 0 points out, you're in a bad spot. That's because the next furthest out is Nick Tarbuck. Nick is down 13. He is down 13 to Justin Morton. And while Morton might not be the strongest of these guys in the oval package, he's best known for his road course work. Hanging in there right now. He finds himself ahead of some competitors that he has to keep behind, including, of course, Blake Cannon. So he is not going to be a slouch and fade way back. He is still in the running. And as a matter of fact, he's got Matthew Thunhorst just ahead of him. JTM, you got Justin Morton, Thomas Bressie, Matthew Thunhorst, the core of that JTM enterprise. And so far, Matthew Thunhorst, the regular season champion for the second time in his career, he is sitting now third in points overall and tied first for the winless category, which means that besides Blake Cannon, he is in the most comfortable position of anyone. His teammate right behind him, not necessarily. Thomas Bressie is 18 up, but a little bit less comfort as well. So you're starting to see the dynamics of the team maybe come into play even in the very beginning of this one. And DJ Stagner's one to watch. DJ is 21 points on the cut. And even though I would say DJ has had an off year relative to even last year, where he didn't win the championship, able to cruise as of late. He's been putting many good runs together, and he is always the type to find a way at the end of the race. He did it on Thursday night with a huge wreck in the final corners at Daytona. DJ went from running in the top 5 to winning to extend the Swamp Motorsport streak at Daytona for the Highline Racing League to 2.5 consecutive years. Unbelievable, and Stagner has been the winningest man in that category. But it's not Daytona. It's not even the same league. He's got a few of the same drivers around him, but those are not the guys he's fighting with the championship rounds for. He's got guys that are running week after week ahead of him in most cases. To get to the round of the 10, of course, you can be a solid guy and make it through on a points buffer, but the round of 5 requires excellence. Stagner's going to have to kick into that next gear because he's got some bubble battlers ahead of him right now. Sam Nieto and Justin Morton for 2. Sam is still behind Morton, and it looks like it's 15th place for Justin, 16th for Nieto. Advantage is still with Morton, and even though the tiebreaker would go Justin's way, he needs those positions ahead of the number 2. The biggest threat, I would say, for the time being for both of these drivers, the 2 and the 9 respectively, you gotta go up to the 18 of Cody Smith. Smith, when he has his days, he has his days. When he qualifies well, very rarely does he leave that placement. He's a driver where qualifying very much indicates the level of performance he has. And I think that's a good thing for a driver like Smith. When he has a good qualifying run, he knows for a fact that he can be confident about what he has going on. It doesn't mean that he has bad nights just because he qualifies poorly. It's not necessarily the opposite either, though. It just means that when he gets those good starts, he's one of the most likely to make the most of it. And you see right now, Cody finds himself in 5th place. He qualified 4th. He's still within a position. Hasn't fallen off, and that's the important part. Cody comes in at 19 back on the cut line. Every moment matters. Every point, every person on the track he can pass. Got to deal with them all in order to make that next round. 2022 league champion representing Next Level Racing. He is one of the most decorated of all drivers, and tonight he's, of course, testing directly against a rookie. You got Hunter Madalenis in the 07. Hunter in the Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang occupies 4th place. He was able to swap spots with Cody Smith on the start of this run and hasn't looked back ever since. While Cody qualified 4th and runs 5th, it's the opposite affair right now for Madalenis, who qualified 5th and now races in 4th. So not a big gain just yet, but he's putting the pressure on to enter that podium placement. Tom Wetmore's got to look back. All drivers who qualified from 1st to 9th are still in the top 10. The only exception right now is the 10th qualifier in Justin Morton, who has been shuffled back to 14th, and it looks like he's comfortably holding that position for the time being. Otherwise, track position early on is indicative of early success. I mean, pretty simple to say it. When you start up front, you're not expected to lose it fast, but also it's locked tight. I mean, closest guy there is going to be 12th to 10th in Vinny Tigner, or 13th to 11th in Nick Tarbuck. We don't have a lot of big movers right now, and the only driver who can really say he's done that is Blake Cannon. Cannon qualified 27th and has now moved up to P20. Take a look on board now with the Cannon machine coming up on Jacob Fife. That would be for 19th if he can get there. Jacob has gone up 1 spot tonight. Cannon has gone 7. So far, Jacob has to find himself just about plateaued. Blake is tied for the most spots gained so far. 33rd to 26th for Casey Shue is the exact same amount in just spots back. So Casey is going at it for that hard charger award as well. What happens here? Comes up on Tyler Hensley. Both of these guys are with the JTM crew. While they might not be the big 3 in the namesake, they're still strong. Casey Shue has been having some solid top 10 races with good qualifying efforts, starting on the front row at Daytona this year, and Tyler Hensley's coming off a stretch that included 2 back-to-back top 5s and a career best 4th place at Portland. Coming up well on Brad McClendon. And McClendon in the Octane Series looked very strong at Michigan. It ended up being a little bit more of a by-the-book race when it came down to victory lane, but McClendon was able to lead laps and show that he's got the stuff to go longer distances at high speeds and do so very well. Strategy, of course, shuffles these guys around, but a lot of these drivers have the potential to win if they have the placement. Vinny Tigner, for 10th place here, is watching a scatter Jack Drucker and Jared Davis. Davis drops down to the bottom. Drucker drops right behind. That Toyota Supra is going to fall back in line. Drucker lets Davis through again. And Jared, of course, is the driver who's been full of Fortunately, we haven't heard too much of him, but his racing speaks for itself. 7th to 7th so far on the day, and he is 7 points up on the cut coming in. The end goal to keep on gaining, and he's right now behind Thomas Bressi. Bressi is the next closest driver to points for him. Thomas is 7th in points. Garrett Davis runs 8th. However, again, they are separated by 11 points right now. 11 points mean a lot. Might not sound like a lot numbers-wise, but that is a huge difference. That's, collectively speaking, about 10 positions. So for Garrett to stay right behind Bressi and gain at the same rate is a big deal. You don't want to have another off race when you're single digits above the cut line, because there's no guarantee a driver around you won't have a breakout night. Nick Tarbuck gets by Vinny Tigner, and that moves the number 29 up into 10th. Nicholas Ward takes 11th. Vinny Tigner now holds his own for P12. 19 laps in out of 140. Got the Napa number 55 up on the high side, Ronnie Osmer. Osmer is one of those guys, again, who needs a critical performance out of this car. He, too, is 22 points back. He and Wetmore alike cannot afford to fail tonight. But the problem is for Ronnie that both he and Wetmore are fighting to get up and above, make their way in. So, only room for one of them in a realistic situation. They're fighting directly with Jared Davis and Ethan Lane for their spots. Bad news, because Ethan Lane, while he's only 6 points above the cut, he's leading right now. So if he wins tonight, which is very possible, not going to say it's guaranteed, it's very possible, Ethan Lane is going to automatically seed himself up and leave fewer spots available. Within 10 points of the cut line to the good are Lane, Davis, and Morton. Right now, Lane leads, Davis runs in 7th, Morton runs in 14th, so there's quite a gap. Ethan Lane, I would say, he's very likely going to make the playoffs no matter what happens here, whether he wins or he doesn't. He's bound to get a good run in one of these races, and a win wouldn't be shocking. Davis, especially Morton, you really don't know. It could be tracks that they're not the best with. It could be that situations don't go their way, and they don't have the buffer. It's a big pack outside of the top 20 here. Got Jacob Fife going at it here. Sebastian Miller, TJ Stagner with Blake Cannon. This is going to be for 16th. And this would be, for Blake, his 11th position gain. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Blake Gordon and Matt Sisler. Luckily, they both get away from it. And Cannon does indeed lead this group. This is pack number 2. By all accounts, the second group of drivers. Looks like still going to be intense as Cannon makes another critical gain. Side by side for Jack Drucker and Thomas Bressi. Drucker low, Bressi up high through turn 3. Clear advantage for Jack into the entry of that corner. I don't think it's a shock that Thomas Bressi here is going to have to lay back with that approach. Jared Davis is coming up on Ronnie Osmer, though, and very quickly you could see another pass. Bressy's watching as Cody Smith bobbles up to the high side of the circuit. Looks like a little less control all of a sudden for the number 18. Cody still runs in 5th, but that section of the corner did not inspire any confidence through 1 and 2. And I'm sure that you saw it on the broadcast there. He just wiggled half a groove higher. Luckily, wiggling half a groove higher doesn't kill the car, but if he were to get in the wall, it would have been a whole lot worse and a whole lot faster. Cody Smith maintains position here, single file all the way down the top 10. Looking to see who can place pressure and who's getting the pressure placed on them. That's the big difference here. Bonnie Osmond, 9th up to 8th, 1 spot gain. He's looking for another. And looks like right now, Ronnie's got the momentum for him to be the man that makes him. So you'll see pretty decisively. He takes it, takes initiative, makes the pass. It's all his. That's Ronnie Osmer in the number 55, making it through once again. Another spot gained. Bacon Ames. Got to go up against Tom Wetmore. Wetmore is now in 4th as Hunter Madalenis has taken P3. Hunter finds himself above the cut line, so he is not in jeopardy no matter where he is positioned. Wetmore would like that spot bad, but it looks like for now he just doesn't have the stuff to go back and immediately chase it. Cody Smith tailing. He continues to watch what's ahead of him. Cody's done a good job so far of defense. Even though, I will tell you this much, it looked like he was going to shake out and lose it there with Jack Drucker and company coming through. Did a great job of repositioning himself and getting out of harm's way. Darrell Davis, 7th now down to 10th. It looks like a little bit of a bobble for the man behind him, and Nicholas Ward. And we're going to take a replay there, and a quick one at that, as it looks like an issue for the 97. Inside the cockpit. Malone might have just been pushing a little too hard. And that's exactly what happened. Out of 2. Drifts and saves it. Luckily, he doesn't lose all too much, Nicholas Ward, but for the time being, it's going to send him back down to 12th. Vinny Tigner takes 11th. He's got to get himself back in line, and hopefully Matthew Thunhorst here doesn't take something from him. Again, Ward 2 is in the fight, but not for the playoff picture. He's just looking to go out there and rack up wins. Full-time competitor and a playoff guy on the Tuesday night Octane Series, and they race tomorrow live on FTN. Chris DeWeese in the chat room, and Car Crash Guy as well. Thank you both for stopping by and showing your support. 36 drivers registered, 35 to take the green flag, and not a one of them is retired so far. It's a full steam ahead affair from Tornado Alley. If your favorite driver's in the mix, sound off in our live chat room. We would love to hear who's out there and who got the fan support tonight. Over 3,000 subscribers live on FTN Broadcasting. We can't thank you enough for your immense support of our sim racing coverage for 2020-25 and beyond. Well, there's no better place to go for sim racing action, especially on these Monday and Tuesday nights. The Integrity Racing League on FTN and only on FTN. Lane, 3 seconds up on the next man in Hunter Madalenas. Tell you this much, Hunter now past Michael Araya. He has been slowly but surely making his moves. Coming up on the lapper of Andrew Schaub, he gets down to the inside, Hunter does, and Andrew skates up high, no trouble there for the lapper. Cody Smith is going to have to move out of the way though, because Andrew was in his racing line. Cody is the first to be trying out that high side, it appears, through 1 and 2. Doesn't have a contemporary yet to compare him to. We'll watch out. See what happens. Right now, anyway, I don't think there is any indication that Cody Smith is fading back. He's just doing things a little bit different. Good to see so far that he's got the stuff, though, although Ronnie Osmer's gotten up to 6th. So Ronnie's moved by Thomas Bresci, and not only that, it looks like Bresci now finds himself fading back even more so, down to P10. Bresci 10th. Jared Davis now is in 9th. You'll then have 8th place in Cody Smith. Go on. Jack Drucker takes P8. 7th is going to be Nick Tarbuck. So Tarbuck has made perhaps the most gains of anyone in the top 10. He's gone from 13th up to 7th. Huge moves. Of course, when it's hard to pass, every position means much more. Done so far is fantastic. Nick Tarbuck needs it again. He's coming from under the cut line, 13 points below. Success tonight is necessary. There is no way around it. No avoidance of the fact that to succeed tonight, it's the only chance he's got to really make the next round. And after the great season he's had, where he has been effectively 3rd in points the entire way, only behind the JTM guys, there's no reason to falter right now. 34 laps in out of 140. Coming up on the quarterway point of this race, and Ethan Lane, full steam ahead, has led each and every lap so far. 7.5 back, that's 7.5 seconds for Matthew Thunhorst. Nicholas Ward, 11th to 13th, is 8 seconds behind, and Sam Nieto, 17th up to 14th. He is now looking for yet another spot. 13th place it could be now for the driver of the number 2. For Sam Nieto, of course, he's got himself right on the cut line, so his immediate contention is with the man just 1 spot behind him, and that's going to be Justin Morton. Between those two, no points hang in the balance because they're equal. Morton now right behind, and Nicholas Ward coming up. You might see some more complications for the 9 team. He's got to stay ahead of Sam Nieto, or at least get lucky with the drivers who are ahead on the cut line to have a chance now. Morton, his season hangs in the balance of getting in the mix with that number 2. Runs 13th, so he's gotten it up a spot since we last checked on him, but he's got not only Nicholas Ward immediately behind, but he's got a fast number 27, rather, looking to go for more positions. Blake Cannon looking to join his teammate Tom Wetmore up at the head of the field, and with the pace he's been pulling at, very unlikely that he can avoid that fate of being passed. Nicholas Ward's going to have to watch it first, because the 97 will put down the defense that might make the difference for Justin Morton. Take a look off the backside of Ward. Down the back straightaway and into turns 3 and 4, Blake Cannon and Nicholas Ward. Blake is there, but is dirty air making the difference? That's the big question right now. Blake sends it up high, tries to avoid that dirty air and get himself his own groove. Justin Morton blocking on Ward. You might see one of these guys boxed out. I think the disadvantage is now with Ward. Oh, Blake Cannon! Wow, what a block! He is not going to be happy with that one in the slightest. Morton with a desperation pull up top, and Cannon gets stopped in his tracks. Can you believe it? Wow. Take a replay on that one, because that could have been horrendous, and for Cannon it was. Just when we thought Ward was going to have it bad, it was a combination of Morton pulling up and Ward squeezing in, and it was a bad combo for Blake Cannon. I mean, he's got to be furious inside the cockpit. What could have been 2 spots gained is now defense for a spot he already took. DJ Stagner, his day might just improve. Wow, that's all we can say there. That was a shocker as Cannon looked to be jet set on making it up to the top 10. It's going to be a lot harder now, and he might end up simmering out further than he would expect. 15th place is still realistic, but he's got to do that same climb again. That was about 10 laps of work. So far, has been a quarter of the race, and he's giving that up. Of course, he's not giving it up voluntarily. Nothing you can do right there. And DJ Stagner knows it. It's his time. What looked like a non-stop assault up the track. No longer. Blake Cannon gets stifled. And it shows. Up in front of the field, Ronnie Osmer side by side with Jared Davis. This one is going to be for the 6th position. And it might be a double pass on Ronnie because Jared is now bringing Jack Drucker. Drucker to the inside for 7th. That will send number 55 down to 8th. Ronnie Osmer drops another spot. Loses it by 61 thousandths of a second. That time by. Tricky circumstance for Ronnie Osmer, but I wouldn't say it's a bad one. I mean, you look at this, he's still right there. Dead even. Jack Drucker takes it high. Ronnie Osmer down low. The big question becomes, what happens up next? Can Osmer regain it by the time we head down to pit road? Because that's got to be the conversation between every driver here. Nick Tarbuck, 13th up to 5th. What a drive it has been as he takes it by side with Jared Davis. Davis got the squeeze corner and looked like he had the edge, but it looks like once again Tarbuck with the corners might be able to use it. No dice that time by. Jared Davis coming around again. For Davis, he's going to take it back up. Top 5. Tarbuck just 1 spot off, and of your top 10 is the biggest mover. He's gained 7 places. Next biggest mover, Matthew Thunhorst, up 4 to go from 14th to 10th in the opening laps. 27th to 16th is still the biggest gain of any driver, but Blake Cannon is falling backwards, and it looks like tires are scuffed, and the confidence is not there because Braxton DeWeese is also coming through. It might not be Cannon who's on the rise. DJ Stagner trying to embody his best impression of that 27 and go for his 7th pass of the day. DJ goes up to 14th place for the first time tonight. He is inside the top 15. Not easy in the slightest, DJ Stagner, but it looks like as soon as the momentum was lost for Cannon, who now runs 17th and lost another, well, DJ was able to take it his own. I think there's a problem with that number 27 car. I think it's a little bit beyond tire scuffing because he got into the wall there, grinding it for a brief moment. It was brief, but when you're going at 180 miles an hour and then some, that will still burn through your car. I don't have a good feeling about Cannon's equipment right now. Something is telling me he is ailing inside of that 27 car, and it might be more than we can see, and that's the worst part for Blake. It might be more than he knows. 44 laps out of 100, and past that point, we're now coming up closer to lap number 60. Watch side by side as Tom Wetmore skates into pit road for the first of 2 pit stops on the night. Ronnie Osmer side by side with Matthew Thunhorst. The 8 goes up to 6th. He will pass Bressie, Drucker, and Ronnie Osmer. What a sequence of moves for Matthew Thunhorst. Osmer now side by side with the teammate, Thomas Bressie. Matthew is, of course, a man on a mission this season to prove that no matter what, he can make it back to victory lane and he can become a champion. The first ever regular season title winner in 2023, and after that point, the wheels fell off and it ended up not being his championship. In turn, his teammate Thomas Bressie took over the reins and had a better championship run and ended up finishing 2nd in points. 3 consecutive seasons. For Bressie, 2nd is the bar, and he wants to cross over it. He has never finished outside the top 3 in the championship, and the only exception would be when he disconnected out of the final race last season. But he was 2nd, or rather, leading. He found himself with 12 laps to go with the championship advantage and ended up disconnecting out of the server, which gave way to a Braxton DeWeese victory. So, Thomas has been the perennial bridesmaid. Matthew Thunhorst has been the first bridesmaid. Of course, in our history of the Integrity Ignite series, they have both written themselves in well, but they both lack something, a championship, something that only one of them can achieve with the time we have remaining. Only one will get it done. We don't know which of them it will be. Hunter Madalenis takes the lead from Michael Araya. That's because Ethan Lane has opted to go down and in. Ethan now finds himself dropping into pit road for 4 tires and fuel. It's his first pit stop of the day, coming in at lap number 50. So, splitting this race into thirds, the multi-stop strategy is going to be chosen. The one-stopper not safe on the fuel loads we're running. 50 laps in for this first stint. Lane is on the way, and it looks like he's going to be put 1 lap down, and swiftly by new leader Madalenis. Ethan goes for the undercut. Michael Araya digs at it a little bit longer. So does Madalenis, so does Davis, Harbuck, Thunhorst, so on and so forth. Start to look at the pit stint data, and you'll be able to tell who went in and who didn't. That time by, the 07 team opts to stay right out. Looks like they're confident in the call of going the distance. Waiting to see which of the big guys is up next. Sam Nieto. How about that? 17th up to 6th. Up 11 places now. And mind you, he's on his original set of rubber, and he's right there with Bressie. Huge moves for the number 2. And there's Ethan Lane. Lane drops to the inside. He's just getting himself back together. And now, it's going to be defense or not. Thomas Bressie into pit road. He'll come in with his teammate, Matthew Thunhorst. Four tires and fuel, the recipe for the JTM duo. Up in the front of the field, Matthew Thunhorst bows out of the top 10, as does Bresci, 53 laps in out of 140. Hunter Madalenas leads the way even still, and it looks like still the top 20 occupied by those on old rubber. Jared Davis, after 53 laps, comes in. And so it looks like the two-stopper is a very comfortable call. The one-stopper, it's not. It's 70 laps and a mile and a half each lap. It's 105 miles. What we know about this Xfinity Series fuel cell is it can give you 90 and it can maybe give you 95 miles under green. But when you go past that lap 100 marker, nothing is a guarantee. Nothing. Which means that I don't think it's going to be wise for anyone to go past lap 60 on this run. Based on what we're seeing here, if we had yellow flags, it would have been more possible. But either way, the one-stopper looks to be out of style tonight as Hunter Madalenas takes it in with Ethan Lane. Hunter making it down the back straightaway, but he's going to be passed by Ethan. So Lane right now is the leader of all those on new rubber. He's in 21st, and he's the first back on the lead lap. Interestingly, Tom Wetmore, for the time being, would be second of which, but these drivers went in considerably earlier than some of their peers on the racetrack. Here comes Josh Christman, and Steve Durham, there's Braxton DeWeese, and I have to wonder, based on what we're seeing here, is the right call to go in during the 50s, or is the super stretch, which is just going until it's done, is that the right way to do it? I'm not convinced either way just yet. I don't know if these drivers are convinced. That might be the thing. They don't know what to do just yet. There's Vinny Tigner. Tigner's got himself some new tire, and look at the numbers. We got a spread from lap 44 to right now. So we're going to see a spread of over 20 laps, and Cody Smith has decided to do Cody Smith things and go for an alternate call. He went down and in at lap number 36. So you're going to see a spread of upwards of 25 laps, I believe, based on what we're looking at here. DJ Stagner, new race leader. Hunter Madalenas dropping in, and so does Michael Araya. There's Justin Morton. Looks like now you got your top two drivers from beforehand making it through. DJ Stagner, after 57 laps, drops in. To pit road, that's going to leave Blake Cannon out there, Sebastian Miller, Brant McClendon, and Casey Shue, and then you begin to get up to those guys who are on new rubber. And Lane has the advantage of all. He is in 6th place right now, and he's going to cycle up to the lead. Brant McClendon in. So it looks like no longer are there holdouts. Ryan Potter in. That's it. Game over for those who held out. Ethan Lane back to the race lead, lap number 58. He went in at 50, but look at those numbers. In the top 10 right now, you got drivers who've gone in as early as lap number 36, as late as lap number 57. In the top 10 alone, you have a spread of 21 laps. Lane is coming up on DJ Stagner. It looks like DJ is going to remain on the lead lap here. Cody Smith, an interesting case. He is officially speaking in second, but he's got old tire. I can't imagine he's going to hang on to that spot for 40 laps the way he is. The interesting part of it here is that we have a very, very small interval compared to even a 150 lap race. And it doesn't come down to mileage, it comes down, oh, Cody Smith, this is bad. Yeah, that's what we expected earlier. It just happened right there. And the old tires and that high side combination he's pushing, I think it's going to give out like that. Ronnie Osmer's coming up on Jack Drucker, two rookies to watch. Take a ride on board now with the number 55 and see what's going on from his perspective. I think we're going to see drivers on that full push strategy. Let's take a look and take a listen with the 55 of Ronnie Osmer. Ronnie here is coming up as close as he can to Jack Drucker. Watching the tire numbers, that's what it's going to come down to. Lap after lap differences aren't going to be exaggerated right now, but if you have a lap worth of an advantage on another driver, that's a mile and a half. And that mile and a half compounds over time. The less wear you have, the faster you can conceivably go. And you might not be pushing early on, but the dividends are going to catch up to you later. That's a benefit, by the way. You can wait. You don't have to be fully aggressive early on. It's almost like having reserve gas, but in the form of tires anyway. It's extra power that you can bring in later in the going so you don't run out of fuel. Of course, running out of fuel oftentimes has to do with real fuel mileage, but these tires, they mean a lot, because even when you're going down the straightaway, you're shredding rubber at 180 plus miles an hour. Track temperature, mind you, is up to 108, so it's gained about 10 degrees from the beginning of this one, and that relative humidity is still sitting high at 88%. That's an indicator that it will get warmer at least until the halfway point of this race. No question about it, it's not going to be easy. If you're a set of Goodyear tire on the track right there, you're not living an easy life. Living a short life, you only got about a half an hour until you get replaced, but regardless, it's not easy. Ethan Lane, 7 seconds up on the next man, and Tom Wetmore. Wetmore makes it by Cody Smith. There goes Ryan Potter. Potter is looking to get himself back in the picture in the 99. Ryan is 3 laps down, running in 34th, not his night. And it looks like his team leader and DJ Stagner is the only one of those guys who's really having any successes today. DJ runs in 15th. He's got young enough tire for me to say he's probably going to make a few more passes. But again, he's isolated. I mean, look at where he is right now. He is 21 seconds back on your leader, and give or take 15 seconds back on second and Tom Wetmore. He's got tire, and he does have time, but he's got to use it, and use it very well. It's all about that efficiency now. Efficiency with tire, efficiency with fuel. Watch the numbers. Less numbers to worry about today, and you can kind of squeeze your stints together because of that. But it doesn't make it easy. It just means you got to do things differently. 66 laps in out of 140. Leaders, led, of course, by the one and only in Lane. Ethan has led just about every lap today. He had to lose a lap because of going down to pit road, but otherwise, from flag to flag, he has been dominant. Here's Justin Morton getting back on the lead lap here. Lap number 6-7. Morton takes it down and in, and a correction, he is 2 laps down and looks like he's had some trouble on pit road. Now, with that being said, Morton is going to find himself in a very bad spot because his main rival on the bubble, Sam Nieto, sits in 12th. That is a substantial difference. Massive importance for Sam Nieto right now to just keep doing what he's doing. Dustin Morton out of the way, he's got himself a little bit less of a problem. With a few other drivers struggling, he's going to firmly make his way above the cut line. He is sitting again 1 position below and losing the tiebreaker, which means that for Justin Morton, Morton would have come in with the edge. If the playoffs ended the round last week, Sam Nieto would have been out. But I think right now, Sam Nieto's got the huge edge. And it's going to work out his way. If, of course, he can just keep on doing what he's done. 68 laps out of 140. We are coming toward half. Halfway is officially at 170. Estimates are that we will see our next pit cycle from around 95 to 110. The battle of the rookies tonight, Hunter Madalenas has been advantageous over Jack Drucker by a lot. Not by a lot, but that doesn't mean that it's not a firm advantage. I mean, that's a few seconds on the racetrack. 9.7 compared to 11.1 for Drucker. It's about a second and a half's worth. So for Drucker, he's got a little bit to overcome, but these two have been at each other's throats all season long. Not by intent. They've raced each other really well, but for 2 rookies to burst onto the scene with the same level of performance through and through, Hunter has the edge in wins. Drucker has been able to keep up with him consistency-wise, and of course, he was the first winner of the year. So, by all accounts, he knows what it's like and he knows how to get it done. Hunter Madalenis, of course, missed a few races and immediately shot out as a winning man. He's been on a little bit of a colder streak as of late. Doesn't mean he's done badly, but he hasn't come to victory lane in more than 2 months. However, he is going up against the best of the best in Ethan Lane. Lane was able to take the road courses back from him, and even though Hunter is a versatile force, it's very hard to eke one out over the 6. And when he couldn't, it was Matthew Thunhorst who got that critical victory, and of course pulled it back together in his sights. And then it was of course Justin Morton in Portland who did the unthinkable and made it back to victory lane. Undeniable that Portland win famous for everyone. Morton, however, having a bad night like this is really going to jeopardize his championship chances. Sits a lap down now in 30th. Every point counts. He can't quit, but it's very easy to say that he's going to be stuck back there all night. Lucky dog is Blake Gordon in 21st. So Morton is a whole 9 drivers below him in that category. Blake Gordon right now, of course, 1 lap down and not too far off of that tally. Ethan Lane is only just ahead of him, but last time by, Lane ran a 32.83, Gordon a 33.185, so even though he's a lapper, he is not catching up. And you would think maybe there's an advantage thanks to rubber, but Ethan Lane has not backed off, and he is still setting the pace for everyone with an 8-second lead over the rest of the field. Ethan Lane, Jared Davis. I mean, the distance right now ever expanding. Hunter Madalenis could get up to Davis, though. Jet Black, number 19, has not gone ghost fully. Madalenis within a second, and the rookie is looking to take it back up to P2. Take a look on board, and if you take a listen, this is something we're going to talk about. So we'll go silent through 1 and 2. We'll break it down. Try to listen for a little bit of a grating sound. You're probably going to hear it right here. A little bit of a slide. Kind of goes with the movements of that steering wheel. Well, of course, we're talking about tire wear right now, and it's a big deal when we're running these laps at speed. Madalenis has to watch himself in one important way. He's definitely going to try to chase down Jared Davis, and it looks like lap for lap, pace-wise anyway, he's got the potential to do it. They've only been separate now by about 1/10 of a second at most over the last few laps, but when you're in that mindset of chasing a driver down, you might end up unintentionally burning out your equipment. You can use your equipment, that's one thing, but if you burn your equipment out, that's another thing. And the difference shows in due time. You can get a few good hot laps in by going all out, but racing is not about the qualifying run the whole way. You're just not going to get the same level of success by consistently slamming it foot to the floor all throughout a 200-plus mile race. Not possible. It just won't happen that way. And so you got to be wary of that when you're chasing down a driver who is more than a second out. You don't have any draft to help you, which is a benefit right now for the men we're watching. Matthew Thunhorst and Nick Tarbuck chasing Ronnie Osmer. Three-way chase, the rookie up and ahead who desperately needs it. 63 laps remaining as now we are far beyond our halfway point and ready to bring it home. Lap number 78 as it stands. Question becomes, now with the final stretch ahead of us, pit road, who's going to hit it first? Is the undercut going to be a copied move? Ethan Lane had great success with it. Maybe that's going to be the decision everyone else decides to make. Eight seconds has been slightly cut down. Jared Davis is about 7.5 seconds back overall. The tightest battles are no longer in the top 5 or even in the top 10, but it is going to get close again here. 3 drivers, all strung, but none of them have made a move side by side yet. Gallagher, the 96, the lapper, forces all three down to the inside again. Oh, Ronnie Osmer taking up the track, and it looks like maybe a nudge makes it 3 wide. Matthew Thunhorse with the advantage. It's going to be a buy one, get one free. Nick Tarbuck gets one free. Osmer shot back 2 places into 8th. Side by side again. They're going to cut Ronnie off. Oh, this looks like it's all the number 4. Well, he's the 4 on Tuesday nights. Shades of Kevin Harvick. He's looking to close it out. Nick Tarbuck at the 29 today, however, bringing that aggression back to life to take it to 6th. $60 to go. DJ Stagner up to 12th. And while he's been isolated, he's picking them off one at a time. Vinny Tigner, easy next. He could be next guest on the list to fall one back. Michael Araya is also there. Laraya in the number 44 tonight. It looks like not his day. 3rd down to 28th. I mean, he's got the points to buffer himself out, but pit road complications comes a dismal performance for a strong team that qualified 3rd. Ryan sits back in P28. The only drivers behind him on this same lap are Justin Morton and Steve Durham. Morton being 1 lap down now in 29th. He just got by Durham, so that's another additional point. It's something, but Sam Nieto runs in 10th place. That's something as well. Vinny Tigner finds himself in the 11th spot. Thomas Bresci, 9th place here. 6 down to 9th. Down 3 places on the day. It's still going to be a successful performance for Bresci, but maybe indicative of what this second half of the season has been. He's been successful, but been the Thomas Bresci we've known of seasons past. I don't know if we can say that yet, but he always finds a way in that final round to jump up and become the second man. Hopefully, of course, finds his way to first man. I think his goal is, of course, to no longer be that bridesmaid and be that runner-up, but instead be the champion of champions. But first, he's got to put himself in that go there. Tonight, I think he's going to get himself there with a solid run and comfortably lock himself in to the final round. Of course, being the round of 10. Then you got the champions round, and that's where it's all out. Bresci right now is comfortable, but he's not making gains. You don't want to be complacent in a situation like that. Jack Drucker, 8th to 5th, up 3 on the day. Take a look behind, Nick Tarbuck coming closer, and with him, the number 8 of Matthew Thunhorst. Got a train coming together again. Drucker, the rookie, facing some pressure to the inside. There goes Nick Tarbuck. He's going to drop right down low. You see how close it is there. In a 1 and 2. And Tarbuck gets these runs going. It's almost impossible to stop him. So far, anyways, if he's had the conviction and had the placement, he's been able to use it fantastically. "55 laps to go. Ethan Lane from pole position to race leader for the better part of 100 laps. He is very likely going to end this race with 100 plus laps led. Not all 140, but about as close as it can get, and this is a very traditional Ethan Lane run. Jared Davis holding fort for second. Great run for him. He's going to get exactly what he needs out of it. Good points. Hunter Madalenas, more the same. Tom Wetmore, I want to be too judgmental because this is a great run for him. But 4th place, can he get any more out of it? Oh, watch up high. Nick Tarbuck's going to try to take more from him. Down low, that's going to send Wetmore to 5th, and maybe now to 6th as Jack Drucker gets by. Side by side. Oh, Wetmore getting in there. Wasn't door to door, but he gets to the wall regardless. Take a look now for Matthew Thunhorse, 14th up to 7th, as he's going to try to make 2 more out of this. The first will be Jack Drucker. He's got to run. Can he use it? '56 takes it down low, effectively boxing Thunhorst up high, but he won't quit. Drivers heading down to pit road, so watch for the strategy calls right on the number 90. Ronnie Osmer heads in. First of those leading contenders to drop down. Will Riker does as well. The 55 of Ronnie Osmer is going to be down from what was 12th on the circuit. 4 tires and fuel for the final time. He'll decide a 50-lap run is the way he wants to end it, and so he will. Hunter Madalenis side by side with the lapper of 9, Ryan Potter. $50 laps remaining. Jack Drucker here, still in the mix with Tom Wetmore. Wetmore trying to take back what he had, and it looks like the fight is not over yet, but Matthew Thunhorst might take more from the 69 team. Thunhorst down low, Wetmore up high. Like now, Wetmore fades away again. Jack Drucker over Thunhorst and then over Wetmore. 49 laps to go. 17th up to 9th on the day. Sam Nieto has had one of the big turnarounds as he started the race in a position where we weren't sure whether or not he was going to make much of it. I mean, the mid-teens, the bottom of the teens, in fact, we figured maybe he's going to get himself a top 15 finish and have it that. But so far, the single digits have gone from full to probable to maybe even a guarantee. Coming up on Tom Wetmore and Thomas Bresci alike now pace-wise, and Sam has not quit. With his bubble rival upwards of 20 places behind him, Sam might be able to punch his ticket into the bottom of the round of 10 and shock the world up next. That, of course, is to be determined. We still await the leaders heading into pit road for the final time. Ethan Lane, slightly lower than Steve Durham. He'll just be given the room. Quick move around for the number 6. That's all he would have wanted. Gets that spot. Overall, Jared Davis has clawed about a second back on the race lead for Ethan Lane. He has made up a second in give or take 40 laps. Unfortunately, I don't think those numbers are in his favor. He might be the slightly faster driver, but the distance is far too much to really get things going. That said, maybe a better chance of just hanging on for P2 here. Wait to see what happens next. Sebastian Miller in the pit road this time by Seb in the number 83. Gives the signal this will be it for his final pit stop of the night. Miller lays low and comes with Nicholas Ward, and Ward comes with Jacob Fife. 1, 2, 3 down and in. Ethan Lane also coming in, nearly putting them a lap down. Wow. So less than 20 drivers now on the lead lap as Lane has continued to tick them off. Ethan Lane to pit road. Barrett Davis opts to remain on the circuit. And Hunter Madalenis fifth up to second. See him here. He's gotten himself now about a second and a half back. So a new top 2. We'll see how long they last. Matt Sisler also signaling in. Matt's going to make the call. Leaders up in front do not. Vinny Tigner right here. Coming up on Josh Gallagher. Tom Wetmore sliding. Makes the most of it, coming in from 6th. 44 laps to go. While Ethan Lane enters and exits, Tom Wetmore has only just begun the process. And now those 2 drivers who started on the front row are at opposite sides of the spectrum for the final time. 44 laps to go. This is going to be the difference-making run. Lane needs to make the absolute most of this one just to build up the most distance He has a gap again of 7 seconds. It should be safe to come home with. Blake Cannon, 27th up to 9th. Like now, he's going to be scoring the top 10, at least tentatively. Getting closer, admittedly. Thomas Bresci. Sam Nieto decides to drop in. Here comes the number 2. Nieto, for the final time tonight, will take a stop in what has been an up-and-up day, and he's looking to gain 10 places. That's still achievable, and it might be the final goal with these laps still ticking down. Davis goes right by Sebastian Miller. Miller gets him right back. Sebastian does have a younger tire. Nick Tarbuck, 13th to 3rd. Up 10 right now. Of course, these are all tentative placements. Not a lot of guys on the lead lap because Ethan Lane and Josh Christman would be the leaders of the one lap down group. They're going to swap over because Ethan Lane right now is ahead of Christman. And that leaves 11 on the lead lap. Josh as well, getting that advantage. Getting back on the lead lap briefly. Hunter Madalenis is your new race leader. That's because Jared Davis just went down and in. Davis for the final time as well, with 41 laps to go. He went the distance. Hunter Madalenis now has Nick Tarbuck, Jack Drucker, and Jared Davis. An update on the Cody Smith situation. Of course, he's on an alternate run. He's in 12th right now. Not a bad place to be, but positionally speaking, he's still taking a major risk and running it at the head of the field with time to spare. The problem for him, though, there is time to spare. He's been going down a pit road considerably earlier than everyone else on the cycle, which means that he'll gain position temporarily, but in the long term, he fades out of the top 10. He's 40 laps enough to hold for it. Whereas for Cody Smith, this race is going to be another one down the drain. Still uncertain. 40 laps to go. Nick Tarbuck, Jack Drucker. Distance is going to be much larger now. Ooh, here comes the 56. He's up to 4th. Jack came in. He was just outside the podium. He's going to have one last chance to drive for it this time around. Ethan Lane drops to the inside on Justin Morton. Tyler Hensley. Oh, Tyler Hensley sliding into pit road. He'll keep it together, but as you saw there, a drift on the way in. Hensley committing to pit road. Let's take a lap back and watch it and see where it went wrong. For Hensley, he'll now be scored in 21st, and it's highly likely that's going to jeopardize his chance of finishing in the top 20. Hensley dropped low, and it just looks like he caught the middle seam and slid on his own there. Kissing the wall, getting spun around. Front end damage, I believe. Oh, Tyler Hensley, this is not good. We'll see if he can recover from it, but it looks like he's taking some more time on pit road and drops to 29th. 6 drivers on the lead lap with leader Hunter Madalenis, the big holdout. 13th to 2nd. Tarbuck comes in. Jay Stagner. Blake Cannon. Those are the guys to watch. Tarbuck brings in the lapper in Casey Shue. Stagner is now going to hold fort for second place and maybe try to lead a lap. Just get some bonus points here. Hunter is still not given the official signal. Taking that middle groove, he shows he's committed to it again. Looking at the stint data, and we'll show you how long it's been for the drivers. Again, they've mostly been going since the mid-50s. While Tarbuck went in at lap number 87, was one of the earlier guys on the new overall run. You got to look at DJ Stagner as an example. He's coming up on what is going to be his 50th lap on this run at lap number 58, which means he could go still 10 laps longer. Same goes for Hunter Madalenis here, which means we're going to see a battle of who wants to run out the lead the longest and who gets the most bonus points. I think Hunter by virtue of staying out here, is going to jeopardize DJ Stagner's plan of just getting a bonus point and then dropping in. Ooh, Stagner loose. And as he bobbles, here comes Blake Cannon. Cannon, the next driver to watch out for because he's got new rubber. Nick Tarbuck just went down and he gets back on the way. 18th place here. Getting by DJ Stagner. One lap down, a majority of the field is, so that's not really indicative of who's got the success and who doesn't. Tarbuck just dropped in as one of the later holdouts, and it leaves Stagner perhaps as the outlier. Stagner will have to deal now with Ethan Lane because Ethan got by Blake Cannon. Cannon now finding himself more than 2 seconds back. Blake still has to go down to pit road. We don't know when. The leader of the new tire brigade is in full force. He's coming after the next drivers ahead of him. Only 2 to go until he regains the lead. Take a ride with Ethan Lane. He's got to make up 18 seconds, but no matter what, the drivers ahead of him have to go down to pit road. While Ethan here runs on his own, he's got that advantage of pace, and it will keep on showing. DJ Stagner here, 33.329 that time by. Ethan Lane further behind. You'll see here, 32.282. So that's more than a second each and every lap. .110 laps in. Hunter Madalenas still holding forward here. We're expecting to see him with the pit window that can take him to lap 115. After that, no guarantees. Six drivers within a lap. That is an unbelievable number, of course. Ronnie Osmer being the final of which got to go down to pit road eventually. Ronnie's had a solid night. Again, he and Tom Wetmore battling to go from the outside and try to get a look in. Wetmore's been very solid, first and foremost, because he qualified second for the pit cycle. He was running in fourth. He's got a very good opportunity here to regain a top 5 placement when it's all said and done. Ooh, nearly contact there with the lapper in Durham. Luckily, no dice and no problems. Jack Drucker slides up and ahead of Sam Nieto. Right now on the racetrack, that's going to be a slot good for, looks to be, 9th on the board. Nick Tarbuck having that 9th spot. Then you go down and you'll see Jack Drucker just behind him. The 11 held just further back. Thomas Bresci, 9th on his own, still where he was when we last checked on him about 50 laps back. So consistency has been his key, and it looks like he's going to be able to steadily coast to a top 10 finish. In lane, getting by DJ Stagner, now running second without any concern of an asterisk. Jay will inevitably have to head down to pit road. Is this the time? And it looks like it's not, but even still, he's running some slow laps. You can see there, Josh Chrisman is coming up. More than a second per lap slower each time by. That's the difference between new tire and old tire. Hunter Madalenas comes down and in, and so it ends. The holdouts are losing ground. Ethan Lane will gain the race lead, and the number 6 will have his day. New man at the top of the board, enter Ethan Lane. And as he comes across the line, it'll be official. Lane for P1, he's got it made. Ethan on top, Blake Cannon and Jared Davis ones to watch after the fact. Blake still having to make his way in, and it looks like he just did. Blake through, DJ Stagner as well. You can see now the final drivers who have been waiting so long are making the call. Steve Durham also going at the same time. DJ gets rolling, as does Blake Cannon. The new group out and ahead, and so with Davis, 19 team, back on the prowl. It'll be the 19 firmly in second again. Lane back to that race lead, and so those two in their comfortable positions. Dogfight from there. Ronnie Osmer in third. So on and so forth. DJ no longer in P3 by virtue of heading down to pit road. Side by side. Thunhorst. Osmer, this one's for a podium place, and it's a critical battle. Thunhorst, of course, he can just keep hacking on those bonus points. Ronnie Osmer fighting because he knows his season's on the line. Tom Wetmore right now running in 5th place. And for him, well, it doesn't look like he's got a chance to get up to Osmer. It's going to be good news for him to see the 55 fade back. In one spot makes that difference. From the rear view and from the deck lid to the number 8s. Ronnie Osmer watching, waiting, still not there. 23 laps remaining, and we're coming up on 22 laps to go. And with our friends at Whiplash SimCams, of course, they give us the best angles, and we like showing them off. FTN Broadcasting for the 2025 racing season and beyond. Proud to work with Whiplash for all of our camera angles for each and every one of our broadcasts. Visit their Discord server for free sample packages, and if you'd like to make a purchase, one click and it's yours. $5 for each car and track package, no licensing fees necessary. You own it no matter what. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's coverage of the Integrity Ignite Series. With 22 laps to go and counting down, we're about to crank it up from Tornado Alley with Ethan Lane leading. Let's get loud and proud from the Kansas Speedway. The playoffs are in full swing. It's getting tense out here. 17 laps remaining, and Ethan Lane remains without competition up in front. He checked out to begin with, and he's been checked out ever since. That really hasn't changed. Nevertheless, Jared Davis stays checked out in second, and everything else is a little bit more of a dogfight. Matthew Thunor stays up on top of Ronnie Osmer. Jack Drucker's now chasing down the man of the 55. Tom Wetmore finds himself 8th, so a little bit further back compared to where he was before the pit cycle, but still comfortably inside the top 10. With 15 laps to go coming this time by, I think all these top 10 guys are going to be content at the very least with what they've done so far and bringing themselves up to the front of the field. Vinny Tigner looks to be the playoff spoiler so far tonight. Remains in the top 10. He's going to be moved back. Sam Nieto taking 9th from him. And it might be Thomas Bresci who moves him out of the top 10 entirely. The number 24 coming up for 10th place. So, while Tigner is going to be the final driver on the lead lap, it looks like he's going to be in a pretty comfortable spot in that regard. They got about 10 seconds of buffer to the lappers, and Ethan Lane, for as fast as he's been, it doesn't look like he's going to make up that distance. He is checked out, though. Look at how far ahead Ethan Lane is. And then you got DJ Stagner, who he just put a lap down. DJ is in 12th. By all accounts, he's had a pretty good race. 12th place is a very solid performance. It's at the top third of the field, and it's just outside the top 10. Well, it looks like tonight that's not enough to stay on the lead lap. Been under the green flag conditions that we've seen, no longer does it look like we're going to have a perfect opportunity to stay in the top 10 in even a solid race like that. That's just when it happens, when Ethan Lane is outright at his best. And with 13 laps to go, slowly but surely, making his way through, it looks like all he's got to do is just stay calm and hit his marks. DJ Stagner trying to get back on the lead lap. I don't think he's happy about what we just said there. The inside, Stagner, 12th, takes it. DJ Stagner, scooch far and away and ahead. 12th place here. And now back on the lead lap. See if Nicholas Ward can do the same, but it looks like Ward is now caught up with another battle. This will be between he and Jacob Fife. The fight is for 13th, and Jacob right now has the advantage. He'll take Kyle Cooper with them. Oh, a little bit of a slide for the 97. Dropping back, Nicholas Ward, now 14th place. Fife 13th, Ethan Lane, get his way around. 11 laps to go this time by. The top 10 mostly settled. You might only see a battle right here from Tom Wetmore and Ronnie Osmer. Tom down to the bottom. And to go next time by. For the back end of Wetmore, this is how close Osmer is. Ronnie skates about 1/10 of a second back. No dice. Right now, looks like advantage Wetmore for P7. Matthew Thunhorst staying ahead of Jack Drucker. No lapper in between them any longer, so if Drucker gets a run of momentum, he's got nothing blocking. Nine laps to go this time by. See here, Jared Davis, 9 seconds back on Lane. What was a 7-second gap and seemed insurmountable the time previous, Ethan Lane has somehow outdid himself and outdone himself. But it's in the past tense now for certain, because he's put all his pit stops behind him and now is set to finish what is perhaps the cleanest race of the year from beginning to end. We've had some drivers pull off the racetrack, but overall, we've gone 133 laps problem-free at the head of the pack. And even through the middle, and all the way to the back. See here, Thomas Bressi on Casey Shue. Those two teammates, however, not going to be battling for position. And Vinny Tigner get back to Sam Nieto, make one more pass. Looks like now that option's in the cards. Tigner is right there down the back straight. Vinny out of turn 4, still there. Casey Shue and Thomas Bressi continue the train, none of which making passes, all of which still in line. All the while, Ethan Lane is coming to make it only 6 laps to go. Lane by Gallagher. No problems there. Ethan again only comes in 6 points ahead of the cut line and found himself in a very bad position if he was not to win or do good in the slightest. Now, of course, it's very unlikely that is going to happen for Lane. He has been the winningest driver this season. He captured the pole today. Success was the expectation and seemed inevitable. With 5 laps remaining, a 6th win on the horizon. No doubting, Ethan Lane continues to find a way. Pushed forth, is just done maybe not what people don't expect of him. They expect wins out of our winningest and most successful driver ever, but do they expect the level that we have seen? Not quite sure. Even what we've seen out of Lane in the Octane series in its own right has been remarkable, but the Ignite series, where we know the competition is just a cut above everywhere else. And you got so many drivers. You got 30, 35 plus who can go out there and win, no matter where they run on a weekly basis. Do it like this is a shock. Shock to the field and maybe a shock to Lane himself. Rucker, still behind Matthew Thunhorst, hasn't got there. Sam Nieto holds forward against Vinny Tigner, but that fight will keep on going, and it looks like they're going to go to the line. Thomas Bressi up top on Tigner here. He's got a shot to take P10. Distraction from being filed out. Here comes Bressi. Josh Chrisman watching. 21st place and 1 lap down. Not going to be involved in this fight directly. And looks like that's not going to be much of a concern for those at the back half of the top 10 looking to finish it off. Ethan Lane, 2 laps remaining here. Still waiting to see if there's any final moves. Justin Morton able to drive up to 26th, who even though he fell way back, not a lost cause. Kept on fighting, took at least a few places, and the job is not finished. What happens next, of course, is a do-or-die race for Morton. Might not be easy. It might just be win or go home, but that's what it comes down to. The fight's not finished for anyone in the playoffs, but for Ethan Lane, he could do what Blake Gordon was not able to do. Blake Cannon did, and what now more than 10 other drivers aim to do: win and lock into the round of 10. Lane comes down the back straightaway uncontested in a night where he's led over 100 laps and has outright dominated strategy. There was no match for Lane from when the green flag first flew to when the checkered flag flew ahead of the number 6. The time is now. Ethan Lane outright dominates from Kansas in a flag-to-flag performance. 210 miles, all under green. Lane is your winner. And there was nobody coming even close to that tonight. It's Lane's 6th win to accompany his 7th pole. Ethan does it, and he does it all. Jared Davis for 2nd. Hunter Madalenas for 3rd. And Nick Tarbuck and Matthew Thunhorst make it 4th and 5th. Both Tom Wetmore and Ronnie Osmer get critical top 10s in 7th and 8th respectively. And to quickly burn it down and start the celebration, your 6-time winner in the number 6 Toyota Supra. For Lane, it's his 6th win of the year. The Octane Series, he's already gotten himself 8. Now approaching the 15-win tally across the Integrity Racing League, a feat that through both series no one has ever done. What a win. This one came with no gimmicks and no way around it. He had to dominate, Lane did, and that's exactly how he broke out, not only for the victory, but for the margin he had, 8.5 seconds. Ethan Lane leads 112 on the day, wins, and comes through over Jared Davis in 2nd and 3rd, and Hunter Madalenas, who led 22 of those remaining 28. Comes away 3rd. Nick Tarbuck then goes P4 with Matthew Thunhorst in 5th. You'll have Jack Drucker in 6th place, and 7th place then being Tom Wetmore. Ronnie Osmer's 8th. Again, the 7th and 8th place drivers, Wetmore and Osmer, needed this performance. They're coming from beyond the cut line, and so is Nick Tarbuck. So big race for those 3. Sam Nieto, 9th, goes above the bubble thanks to beating out Justin Morton by a big margin. And then you got Thomas Bresci. Bresci finishes in 10th. 11th place goes right after the driver of the number 12 and Vinny Tigner. DJ Stagner, the last man on the lead lap, in 12th place. 13th is DJ Stagner's, of course, rival on the day when you talk about escaping the lead lap, Jacob Fife. Nicholas Ward goes 14th, Blake Cannon 15th, Sebastian Miller 16th and 17th, and Cody Smith. Brant McClendon is 18th place, and 19th is Braxton DeWeese with Casey Shue, then in 20th. Josh Chrisman 21st, Michael Araya 22nd, Blake Gordon goes P23. 24th, Josh Gallagher. 25th is Kyle Cooper with 26th place in Justin Morton. 27th, Matt Sizzler. Then 28th, 29th, and 30th for Brandon Bernhardt, Steve Durham, and Will Riker down the line. Your final drivers on the day go as follows with Ryan Potter, Tyler Hensley, Andrew Schaub, Cal Filarski, Boomer Logan, and Gael Brooks making up the 36 drivers to take to the track here in Kansas. Tornado Alley didn't really throw us for many surprises tonight, and it was about as textbook as it came. But only one driver studied up better than anyone else and made it very clear. Ethan Lane, 112 laps led. Statement race, statement victory, and he is going to breeze through into what's next. That, of course, round of 10. And with a win like this, there's got to be less concern than ever before that the playoff run is alive and well for this team, because there was no stopping you, Ethan, tonight. From the very beginning, you grabbed the pole position and you led basically flag to flag in a fully green flag run. It was a test of endurance, and nobody outlasted you.
Yeah, that was that was tough, but a lot of fun being able to push the car, but also be having to hang the right rear out and just hope it sticks and hope you don't like overcorrect in the middle of the corner. Definitely probably one of the most fun setups we've had all year, and just in general in iRacing, it definitely brings the driver into play.
And of course, tonight, something we don't see all too often, working the tires and working the specific amount of time you had to go out there. And it looks like with those stints that you planned out, you made gains throughout the entire race to stretch to as high as a 9-second gap. And that's, of course, the big thing. The numbers helped you out so much in not having to push yourself beyond the limit. So how did you make that work out? Because it seems nobody else could bring those stints out like you did.
Just knowing when to pit and knowing how much we were falling off. I knew if you ran 5-6 laps longer, then no one was catching you even into the next run if they pitted that late. So yeah, I was trying to plan it by ear, but I knew I wanted to make it almost a lap 50 the first run. That way I could split the second two or the next two runs up into equal parts.
Just like that, it looks like the simple numbers did all the difference tonight. Now, we noticed tires as well seemed to be burning up, a fall off of more than a second per lap, but of all the drivers to avoid it, again, it just seems like you led that category. Was there any particular trick with that?
Just knowing where to run here and not, or knowing how to push just enough to go fast and go faster than everyone else. And knowing when to not push and go just the same speed. So yeah, no, we'll take it, especially after last week. I'm glad we could find victory lane again in this series. Um, been a minute, I think, but yeah, it's nice to be locked in going into my favorite racetrack next week in the series. So uh, just going out there next week, having fun. Hopefully, it goes green again.
And of course, the final race, the round of 15. Now it's not a concern for you any longer. You went from ninth seed up to the top with a locked-in performance. Darlington, that is one of our crown jewel races in the Ignite series, though. A full-length Xfinity-style race. Tricky track. I mean, it's a track too tough to tame. We know it. It's unlike any other. But is your mentality any different now with this win in mind?
No. We want to keep building playoff points, so goal next week's to do the same, put it on pole, and just save the tires because it's going to be a rough one. Darlington's one of my favorite racetracks, so didn't get the chance to show the speed in the Octane series when we went there earlier. But looking to do the show the speed tomorrow.
Maybe a chance to go two in a row for this opening round of the playoffs. Ethan Lane getting it started. And of course, the momentum is back with win number 6. Any final comments you'd like to send? The floor is yours.
Just thank you to put on these broadcasts. Everyone there at Integrity today. Not the easiest setup to drive, but everyone made it flag to flag under green. So shout out to everyone there. Definitely fun.
Ethan Lane in command of a flag-to-flag field of 35 plus strong. And of course, with a win at the end of it. Thank you for your time, Ethan.
Thank you.
Lane on the way. He'll get the victory. And unfortunately, Jared Davis, very hard to reach, but very hard to ignore at the same time. I mean, there's something else about this number 19 team. Second place, 7th in qualifying, he gained 5, and much like Ethan Lane did, just running the stints consistently and hitting those number marks, that's why Jared Davis was able to pull 6 seconds on the next closest driver, who will pull in very shortly. So Davis did what Lane did, but Lane just did it a little bit better to get the edge again tonight. For Davis, a critical performance. He was already above the cut line and now gives himself that real estate and insurance as we head toward Darlington. He's also a double duty driver. He was with us when the Octane series went there before. Jared is now looking to bring some of that speed, some of that expertise, and take it over to the lady in black. He's got a black car. It's all black, as a matter of fact. No match. Doesn't want to give it a Darlington stripe. Second for Davis, and of course, great to have him on the racetrack. I think this is the same podium we had from last week. If you remember the drivers, we're going down the ladder. Difference is Davis takes P2. With that said, Hunter Madalenis, let's talk to him now. Third place on the day for the Shell Pennzoil team, and this Ford Mustang broke out late and was just able to avoid the onslaught of Nick Tarbuck and Matthew Thunhorst chasing him down. Hunter, welcome back to the broadcast booth. Another podium and another good run. Momentum, you're building it.
Yeah, amazing race tonight. It was. Well, I would say that was probably the hardest race in the season to have to go with. The car was just so tight entry, and then it shoved loose extremely on exit. So, you had to really have your hands up on the wheel and, drive it really hard. And yeah, I was able to qualify really good in the top 5. And then, yeah, just spent most of that race just sitting there tire saving and being able to run second, third, and running the strategy that I felt like was going to be the best for me.
Without a doubt tonight, it was a strategic race. Very rarely have we gotten a chance to go wide open at these intermediates, and it figures when it matters most, that's how you had to deal with it. Qualifying sets you up well. You think track position really helped out for you there?
Yeah, it seemed, at least there when we were all on the same tires, it was extremely difficult to pass. I got Cody Smith because of a slip up, and then it was painful to try and get around Lariah and all those other guys to get up into second. But Yeah, it was a very difficult race, and especially there that last run, giving it everything I got to try and get to Davis. Yeah, it just was really difficult all night to pass unless you had a major tire advantage.
Tires burnt up big time all night long, and that is, of course, something we noticed here. I think the first pit stop cycle was very different from the rest for all the leaders. It looked like by the time the final one came around, you and the field were more in cycle with leader Ethan Lane, but we saw a huge window of upwards of 20 laps to begin it. Narrowing out seemed to be the right call. Was there any big change you made from the first to last based on that?
No, I ran it completely out of fuel both runs. I was hoping that, on that first run, Ethan came about 6 laps before me, that was going to be enough to me start catching him. It wasn't, and then that second run, I think I had 14 lap fresher tires than him, and still really wasn't even catching him. So I mean, he's just in another level. But yeah, it was just running it out of fuel there those last 2 runs, and unfortunately, we were catching Davis at such a rate that my fuel calculator apparently didn't put enough fuel in. Because we were running about 10 times the pace we were before the pit stop. So ran out of fuel coming out of 4 to the checkered. So just barely beat out Tarbuck. But yeah, it was a good race, good strategy, because running flag to flag is just about the most fun and most challenging thing for us to do.
Now, with all these extra bonus points stacked up, the round of 10, you might not be officially locked in just yet, but sights are set on making it in. Darlington, just one more solid run needed out of this crew. You expect you're going to find it?
Yeah, I'm expecting a good run. Third place last week, third place this week, and I think third in the stage break as well. Yeah, just really good points for these first 2 races, and this is exactly what I wanted to going into the playoffs, was get a really good buffer, because I mean, Darlington is such a difficult track. It's so unpredictable that anything can happen. So I put myself in the best position I could going into it.
It's all now up to maybe the luck of the draw from Darlington, but big efforts of these last 2 races have made the most of it. Hunter Madalena's third on the day here for the Kansas Speedway, success and another podium. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave us with? The floor is yours.
Yeah, just a big shout out to everyone in the field today going flag to flag. That's not easy to do for anybody, not even the pros. And then, yeah, thank you for you putting on these broadcasts. I always love going back and watching them.
P3 on the day, and just like that, Hunter Madalenas wraps up the podium from the Kansas Speedway. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, David.
So, as we wrap up tonight's broadcast, let's talk about the playoff standings coming in, because we don't yet have the graphic for the playoff standings coming out of this race. Coming into tonight, Blake Cannon locked up his spot. Ethan Lane with the victory tonight, he did the same thing. So we got 2 drivers who we can automatically say are in for the next round of the playoffs. Then from there, we're looking at good runs tonight from Hunter Madalenas in particular. He was 18 above the cut line. He will continue going up. And then you'll have Matthew Thunhorst in 5th. He did more of the same. Moreover, Thomas Bressi with a solid run will be above the cut line. Those are drivers we can consider safe based on what we saw tonight. DJ Stagner in 12th, more the same. So from Cannon down to Bressi, who were the top 7 coming in, it appears they will all still be above the cut line. That is Blake Cannon, Michael Araya, Matthew Thunhorst, Jack Drucker, DJ Stagner, Hunter Madalenas, and Thomas Bressi. Everything else from there still to be determined. Big runs from Wetmore and Osmore are going to bring them right up to the cut line. Bad days for Cody Smith and Justin Morton will bring them right below it. But we're waiting on the official call, and we're going to find out what those points lead us to believe. This is now final race. Up next, Darlington, the final race of the opening round. It's going to be an exciting one, and everyone knows the big picture is only going to become fewer and fewer. Ironic, the most important races, the fewest drivers will be eligible. Jared Davis second to Hunter Madalenas in third, but the winning man above all else, Ethan Lane in the number 6. And so we move on to the Lady in Black, the Darlington Raceway. This is it. It's the crown jewel of our late summer stretch, a full-length Xfinity-style race next Monday night. Thank you for tuning in live on FTN Broadcasting. Tomorrow we go racing with the Integrity Octane Series as they too continue their championship chase on Tuesday nights live at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated, and we can't wait to have you back on the channel. From FTN Broadcasting, I've been David Kreutz. We will see you back tomorrow night with the Octane Series and next Monday night with the Ignite Series as the round of 15 comes to its close. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic night.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
Welcome to the Underdog Racing Podcast, where we talk to NASCAR drivers from all over the great country of America. Each week, we chat about the latest races, share stories from the track, and get to know the drivers behind the wheel. We break down the action, hear from drivers about their experiences, and dive into what drives them to keep racing. Whether you're a longtime NASCAR fan or just curious about the sport, this is the place for you. So tune in to the Underdog Racing Podcast, your inside look at the world of NASCAR. Catch us every Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.